Old Spice is opening its first flagship barbershop in Ohio. This Wednesday, they opened up a barbershop. The whole thing is designed to increase reach. They've had an e-commerce direct-to-sales channel, but now this is going to be their first permanent standalone bricks and mortar store that is owned and it appears operated by P&G. It's, of course, situated right on the Ohio State University campus or close, very close to it. And it has everything that you would expect, Ann and Emma, the intern. It has Instagrammable moments like wooden boats chopped in half as the reception desk, 3D models of various haircuts and styles. Oh, and of course, it has a content studio. Yes, where visitors can create and share real-time social and digital content. And it's also a residency home for well-known barbers. They can meet clients, host visits and appointments, and shoot social media content inside the content studio. It's so exciting. What do you guys think of this?
Go to Emma first, because I want to hear what she has to say as resident Gen Z.
What do you think?
That was a lot to follow, but I mean,
it was, and I tried to make it so exciting. It sounds so fun.
I mean, it sounds cool that they're doing something different. I do think if they can get the Ohio State football team in there doing events and getting their hair done and everything, then that's going to be big. And I think that'll draw in a lot of people. But I mean, kudos to them for innovating in the kind of salon space. But
let me ask you this question, Emma, before we go to Ann. Is this idea cool enough that we're going to see I'm not even going to make the number that high, 100 Old Spice barbershops throughout the country?
I don't think so. No.
You don't think so. Okay. And does it improve the brand? Do more people buy Old Spice? I think that's the other question. Will more people buy Old Spice to a significant degree than they do now based on them doing this effort?
Maybe. I'll give that one a maybe.
All right, good call. And
so they basically have created the TRL of Old Spice, right? You just go in there and you make content. This is just a content studio. I think that's the number one thing.
Is it?
When I first saw this headline, I was kind of excited because I'm like, hey, another example of a giant brand, a P&G owned brand going direct to consumer. It's interesting. I think realistically, no, this is a content studio. We're not going to be seeing 100 of these, but humor me for a minute. And all the people online, Chris Walton, who want what they want, and they want Old Spice and Centaurs. Is there a possibility that this could be licensed, that you could license this to an existing offer, like a Sport Clips or whatever it might be? I mean, you think about that. And for me, I do think that there is P&G is not going to get into the barbershop management or even the content management space. This is a pop-up experiential retail idea. But I do wonder what happens if you start putting P&G product in a barbershop as an alternative to the $32 hair gel that you're buying right now. And if there is a way to kind of marry those or create that partnership there, and if that's a creative partnership that somebody could explore in theory. I don't think they're going to be managing barbershops as part of their portfolio anytime soon, but I kind of like this idea for the creativity.
Yeah,
and the Centaurs.
I mean, right. If the barbers are centaurs, that was my big question on social media, even though I did that wrong. I've had 24 hours to think about this. I think I hate this, and I think it's smart at the same time. And it's also the type of story that really pisses me off when you cover, when you're trying to cover the future of retail, because everyone gets excited about it. Here's what I don't like about it. Okay. Right. All that stuff. It reminds me of the Saturday Night Live commercial with Dan Aykroyd. It's a dessert topping and it's a floor wax, right? Whatever, shimmer, the new whatever, it does everything, right? It's the calling card of everything that people try to talk about every week is changing retail. It's just, so that part's silly to me. And then you said it, Ann, at the end of the day, it's a goddamn barbershop. And that's the business that it is, right? And so if you're going to scale this, and that's what I don't like about the story, because you read the article, the P&G executive is talking about how they're going to scale this. And it's really, you guys are going to get into operating the barbershop business. That thing is cutthroat. There's a ton of competition. That's a freaking terrible idea. It's a terrible idea. So then I stepped back and I just said, okay, wait, is all that just BS? And there's never going to be more than one of these. And now we're all freaking talking about it in a different way. Sure, maybe it gets energy and you can license it and you make some money like they're doing like with Tide dry cleaners and crap like that. They're not running and operating those. I don't think anyway. And it's different in a lot of ways too. But like now we're talking about it. It gets some interest. It makes the brand sound cool again. And maybe people at Ohio State near the campus are going to do this. But even if you're rolling it out, it's a dumb idea. Like you don't put your first store in Ohio, Ohio State right next to where your headquarters are, or very close to where your headquarters are. You test it somewhere else to make sure that there's, real relevance to what's going on. So like, when I look at it that way, okay, yeah, brilliant marketing move, fine, do what you want with it. But like, as terms of like, this is a retail story that like we should all get excited about how brands are, going from their traditional channels to now stand-up barbershops and experiences with Instagram studios and shit like that. Excuse my language, earmuffs. This drives me freaking crazy. Okay, rant over, done, and finish this up.
Well, but what about Ulta? They have barbershops in their, or like they have like salons in their space. I mean, I think it's
but it's part of their experience. That's different. They're in the store running experience, and if they want to put that in as something they think adds to that, that's different than like I'm a brand marketer. My business is putting things on shelves, and now I'm going to go run barbershops. Totally different thing.
I think you need to detach the barbershop from the content studio and like if you think about this as I'm spending $133,000 or whatever their 1 year rent is, they put in the article is for the space. This is a marketing budget for one brand. That's not a lot of money in the grand scheme of things. And it's performing how it should. Like it's getting the attention it should need. And if you think about it not as like another business model to go after, like disrupting barbershops, I think this is a content play and a marketing play.
Yeah, but no one that's the thing, but nobody goes in and ends up making content in those things when you start talking about it at scale. So maybe like one, sure, like that's fine. But
I think to follow more barbers on YouTube, Chris.
Right. But the important part is like, this stuff's not going to necessarily save you. Like if you're going to end up running barbershops or you're going to end up running restaurants in your retail stores, and that's the hook that's getting people to shop, that's a really inherently dangerous proposition. You've got to come up with something else and something more compelling. Those business models are tough. They fail. And there's a reason, that anyone can get into them.